The Seismic 7, Chapter 7, Part 2. I understand why they couldn't get someone more muscular in here, because I barely have room to breathe. But I still feel like maybe Dr. Greer, or rather Miss McNamara, I guess, made a mistake choosing me for this job. I wonder how the others are doing, but I'm too tired to turn my radio on and check in. The good news is, once I do bolt the metal track to the crevice wall, I find that I did an okay job. It's steady, it holds. I connect the newly installed vertical track to the horizontal track from the tunnel I'm still in, using the special brackets Mr. Stiles gave me. This will allow the motor to push the pod into the crevice. Then, I just have to find the courage to turn on the fracking drill and start drilling my way down to a magma chamber. Simple, right? I shift my cage pod back up the tunnel until I get the base of my pod lined up with the crevice. This whole process has taken almost an hour. I must be way behind everyone else. The cables are holding you up. You can't fall. You can go in, but you can't fall. Squeezing my eyes shut, tears pinch out of the corners. I imagine this moment as a video. This would be the point the lead on-screen personality would take the plunge. I turn on my camera, vowing to delete this section before giving it to Dr. Greer. "Hey," I whisper. "I'm going to do it. Hero time." Keeping the camera on me, I angle the bottom of the pod in with my feet, fire up the motor, rotate the giant drill on its hinges, and maneuver in. The turn into the crevice is fast and painless, even though my heart feels like it's about to explode. "Oh my goodness," I say once the turn is done and I'm fully vertical. I clutch my camera. It's probably aimed in a super unflattering way at my face, but I don't care right now. I did it! I'm in a crevice in the earth that leads straight down toward one of the most dangerous magma chambers in the entire planet. Just want to state that for the record. The motor moves me down as far as the track will take me. The fracking drill on the bottom of my pod actually has to do work now, busting up rock to widen the crevice to allow me to fit through. I turn it on and a slurry of stone gets churned up through the big pipe, heading to the furnace. It must be adding to the giant pile we saw when we entered the cavern worksite. For some reason, that makes me most proud of everything. I'm no longer just going where others have been. I'm digging my own tunnel. I line up my small hand drill to make holes for the next section of track. Now that I'm upright, drilling the holes goes much quicker. In the next 2 hours, I lay 9 new pieces of track. I record the process so Dr. Greer will have something useful on video rather than just my panicked talking. I'm already much further along than she had expected us to get today, so I think she'll be pleased regardless. I hope, at least. "How's everyone doing?" I ask over the radio. I'm not sure when we're thinking about being done, but my body is hitting its exhaustion point. "So tired," Kinsey replies. "It's only mid-afternoon," Wyatt says. "We should probably do a couple more sections each before we head back." "Oh, goodness, do we have to?" Kinsey asks. "Can't we just lie down and never get up again?" "Well, that's an option, I suppose," Todd says, "but I don't think that will actually do much in the way of saving the world." "You don't know that," Kinsey says. "What if the volcano bubbles up right here and my body stops it? If you make me keep moving, you could be dooming the entire planet." "While I appreciate the sacrifice you're willing to make, Kinsey, I think we should probably do what Dr. Greer has planned instead," I say, despite totally wanting to be done myself. "She has just a few more years of experience with this sort of thing than you." "She doesn't have squat experience with what we just did," Kinsey complains. "I'd like to see her drill one of these holes." "Kinsey," Wyatt says, "come on." "Fine, fine, fine," she grumbles, "but only because I happen to like this planet." 3 more track pieces each, I ask. "Yeah," Wyatt says, "then we can go back and get some food and rest." After running my sensors again, I readjust my mask and goggles, put my gloves back on, and start working. Once I have the 3 tracks laid, I radio in and confirm that everyone is ready to head back. They are. We're all very much done. I'm in the lead this time, on our way up. My body feels numb. The smooth, cut bedrock steps by me mere inches from my face, but that has already become normal to my mind. After what feels like ages, I finally emerge. Mr. Stiles and Dr. Greer are there in the cavern waiting for us. I try to unlatch the cage door, but I'm too tired, so I just fumble with it until Mr. Stiles helps me unhook it. Out. Food. Chairs. Rest. My brain repeats those 4 words as I stumble out of the pod. Soon after, the next gets pulled up. Yes, finally! Kinsey collapses as she emerges from the ground. Welcome back, Dr. Greer greets us. I got 12 meters of track into a crevice, I say, stretching. Good start, Dr. Greer replies. That's all she says on that subject, though, and I'm a bit disappointed. Come on, dinner is waiting. Wait, we still have to get Suck-Up and Texas out, Kinsey says, peeling off her face mask and goggles. The boys? Mr. Stiles replies. I'll get them. You two can go on ahead. I take off my own goggles and mask. I'm too tired to ask about anything more, and Kinsey apparently is too. We follow Dr. Greer back to base camp. Dr. Greer hasn't forgotten about my camera. She takes it from me as we walk. Sorry, I was mostly just trying to get a handle on how to do my job, I say. Probably isn't too much there that's useful. It's fine, she says. You will have plenty more chances to record the process. I almost stopped walking at that. She's right. Somehow in today's work, I had fallen into the mindset that I just needed to get this done now. I hadn't thought about how I was going to do this all again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next, for the whole summer. Sudden tears spring to my eyes. The muscles in my arms spasm, and I rush to walk faster, getting in front of everyone so no one sees me like this. In my rushing, I nearly run into someone. Hey, watch it, a kid says, stumbling backward. I stare at him. He's definitely not one of the kids from earlier. He's younger by at least a year, much darker skinned and thicker around the middle than they were. Sorry, I say. It's been a long day. Nolan, Miss McNamara will find you later, Dr. Greer says. Oh, so this is Nolan, Kinsey says, eyeballing him. I remember Mr. Stiles and Mr. Fee mentioning someone named Nolan yesterday. How are you so clean? This is super unfair. She reaches out to smear dust on his green sweatshirt. Nolan takes a huge step back away from Kinsey, ignoring her and easily dodging her attempted swipe. I'll go and wait then, he says. Then he walks a different direction than we're headed. Dr. Greer watches him leave, tapping one finger on her crossed arm. Bye, Kinsey calls after him. Geez, are all the kids here this rude? Dr. Greer motions for us to keep walking. They know they have more important things to do than chit-chat. Just as Nolan rounds the corner, 2 heads pop up from the hood of his sweatshirt. I gasp. The person with 3 heads from the mouth of the cave. Everyone saw those animal things in his sweatshirt, right? I ask. Those are Nolan's ferrets, Dr. Greer says. They help around here. His what? Kinsey asks. Aren't ferrets those weird, long, rodent things with the ugly faces? I ask, hurrying to keep up with Dr. Greer and relieved that I'm not just seeing things. They aren't rodents, Dr. Greer says. I suppose it's subjective whether or not you find them ugly. Why does Nolan get to have pets down here? Kinsey asks. Like I said, Buggy and Baxter help with our work, Dr. Greer says. Buggy and Baxter? Which one's which? Kinsey asks. Buggy is the white one with the pink eyes. Baxter is the one with the more normal coloring, the browns and the tans. Careful, she advises. Baxter bites.